this final video of the single player portion of the series, we'll add the ability for customizable things to happen when we train a skill. So we need the ability for things to happen when we train a skill. The thing that happens needs to be completely flexible because anything can happen in a game when a skill or tech is trained. For example, maybe a stat on the character is modified. Maybe the character gets a new ability. Maybe something is added to the game world. Maybe the game world changes in some fundamental way. So in order to account for all potential flexibility, we'll simply spawn a blueprint so the designer can code what they want to happen when that skill is trained. Now in our components folder, let's open up our component. We'll expand the interfaces, STP/PC internal, learn skill. And so at the end here, when we learn a skill, we want it to spawn the associated effect class. So to do that, drag in the data table, get data table row, and this node input is the skill that's being learned. So we can get node. We can drag out this effect. It's a soft reference because we don't want to load every effect in the game until we need it. So we'll load it and we can cast to BP skill effect class, and we can spawn actor from class. Split the transform so there's no problem with spawning, and set the collision to always spawn, ignore collisions. And just for best practice, we'll add a reroute at the end and connect the cast failed, just in case we decide to add anything here in the future. So if you'll remember much earlier when we created our skill structure, we included this effect variable and we created a class from it, which is inherited from actor. And there's no functionality in that class. It's just an actor with a special name. And we'll talk about the reason for that in a moment. If we go over to our data table and scroll down, we can see the effect with a drop-down list here for each skill. And this is the reason that we created a class for the skill. We could just spawn an actor, but then when we click this drop-down, we would see all the actors in our project, and the only way we could organize it is with naming. So this way, when the designer is working in the data table, the only things that they will see are possible skill effects. And you might also remember earlier we created this skill effects subfolder here. And like we said, this is just a child of actor, which is empty. And to create a new skill effect for a skill, all we do is right click this, come up here, create child blueprint class, set its name to something. So I'll call it skill effect hello, open it up, add a begin play, and then code whatever functionality you want to happen here whenever the skill is trained. So here, we'll just do a print string for hello. Now if we come back over to the data table, if we click on the fire skill, let's say when I train the fire skill, I want this to happen. So in the dropdown, I see my skill effect hello. I'll select that, and that's all we need to do to make something happen when we train a skill in a game. Just create the skill effect, code what we want to happen in it, and then add it here in the data table. So now when we fire up our game and open up our skill tree and we train the fire novice skill, upper left, it says hello. And if we train a different skill, nothing happens. So now we have a way to select individual scripted functionality for each skill in our game. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, it can be literally anything that we put here. It wouldn't just be a simple hello. We would most likely change a stat on the character, or give the character a certain skill, or change something in the game world, etc. It's also worth noting that a lot of more advanced projects use the gameplay ability system, and this very easily integrates into that. When you spawn this game effect blueprint, you can just get a reference to the gameplay ability system component and then give the ability. So that completes the skill tree tutorial series. You now have a AAA quality, fully customizable, optimized, beautiful skilling system that you can easily integrate into all your future games from now on. Congratulations on making it this far. It was a lot of work. I hope you guys enjoy using this system in your games and learn some useful things from this series, and take care.